is known to be for this pirates activity, that people normally rob people and kill people and steal their stuff and all this kind of stuff. So that one and only lady who was with us on the boat, she was scared. And I could see her, she was shivering. And we were to run to the dinghy, to push our dinghy back into the sea so we can jump on, but it's too late because the sea is very rough, we cannot. We were helpless, we don't know what to do, and I could hear my friends were saying, "Oh Lord, please help us," all this kind of. A few years back, I was a pastor in Daru, in Western province of Papua New Guinea. And during that time, in my term as a church pastor in the town church, I used to, because I love evangelism and going out to visit different places. So one of the ministry that I did was to visit a prison. And every Sabbath, when I am not traveling out, I used to get my church to follow me down to the prison in Daru to visit the prisoners. And we've been doing that for some times. One time there was a friend that came from the nearby province in Gulf, and they asked if I could, get onto their dinghy and travel with them from the Western province, Daru, to Kikori in the Gulf, Kerema. So I said, okay, and I traveled with them on that boat. As soon as we were traveling on the rough sea between the Western province and into the Gulf of Gulf province, there was a huge waves and seas, and the wind was blowing and the sea was very, very rough. And for several times the waves just came and went into our boat. And we thank God that we didn't sink, but we managed to keep going. Until we arrived at the mouth of the big river, the Fly River, one of the biggest river in Papua New Guinea. We arrived in the river, the mouth of the river, and to cross the mouth of the river onto the other side of the river by 40 horsepower engine, you will cross it by 40 horse, it will be 4 hours to cross. 75 horsepower, it will take 2 hours to cross. So in between the mouth of the big huge river, there are several islands, and those islands, there's no inhabitants or people. There's no people in those islands. And so when we arrived, we saw the sea was very rough along the mouth of the river. So we decided to go into one of those islands to seek refuge. So we went and we arrived at the sand beach. We trekked our dinghy up onto the sand. And then on the dinghy, there was one lady who was a business lady, and all of us were men. 2 pastors, and the rest were the boat crews and the others. So while we were standing there and then waiting for the wind to stop and the sea to come down and then we can travel, all of a sudden we saw a group of men coming out from, we don't know where they came from, but they just came out from where they were in those nearby bushes. They came in a very long line and they were walking straight towards us. And we knew, because that place is known to be for this pirates activity, that people normally rob people and kill people and steal their stuff and all this kind of stuff. So that one and only lady who was with us on the boat, she was scared. And I could see her, she was shivering. And we were to run to the dinghy, to push our dinghy back into the sea so we can jump on, but it's too late because the sea is very rough, we cannot. So we knew we were in danger and we couldn't do anything. So what we did was we just walked back to where our dinghy was, all of us, the skipper of the boat, the crew members, and that lady with the husband, and every one of us, my colleague pastor. So as soon as we were walking towards the dinghy and just standing there, this group of men were walking in a straight line. They were walking up with their bush knives, and every one of them wear caps with, they tie their heads with a piece of cloth. So they walked straight to us, and we were helpless. We don't know what to do, and I could hear my friends were saying, "Oh Lord, please help us," all this kind of whispering. And then as soon as they were coming close to us, about maybe a meter or two, there was someone in the group that just walked out of the group. And he was in the middle of the group, but he walked out and he came quickly up to the front line, to the person who was leading the group. And he came up, and what he did was, he came straight to me and said, "Hey, Pastor." And when he said, "Pastor" to me, like I was surprised too. I don't know him. I have no knowledge about him. So he said to me, "Hi, Pastor." And I looked to him and he said to me, "Do you know me?" And I shook my head and I said, "No." And he said, "But I remember you. I know you." And I said to him, "Who are you?" And he said to me, "Do you know the prison? Do you know the prison?" And I said, "Yes. I used to be in a prison and you normally come and visit me." And he turned around and he spoke in his language to the man that he was coming with. He told them, "This is my pastor. I used to be in a prison and he used to come and visit me." And all of them came and they just, say sorry to us, and they say sorry, they apologized to us, and they said, "Sorry, we thought this other group, other people, so we came, but very sorry, Pastor. You and your group can stay here until whenever the waves come down, you guys can travel." Yes, so this is one of the experience that we saw God's hand during our rough sea travel that we traveled. We see God was good to us. So prison visitation, we don't know who are we visiting to in the prison. So this is something that make me to continue to visit the prisoners in prison ministry.